Hi Gina, I haven't seen you in a few weeks. I know it was hard for you to come today, and this has kind of been a hard process. So I'm really glad that you came today. Just want to check in and see how things are going.
Been in a couple fights with my mom, cut a few times, but not as much as before.
So you've cut a couple times since we've met, but not as much as before. You did have a few fights with your mom. So Gina, tell me about where you're at in terms of your feelings about cutting and what your thoughts are about changing that behavior.
I know it's bad, but I don't. Sometimes I just want to do it because I know it'll help me feel better right away. I don't know that having a bath will make me feel better right away necessarily.
You have mixed feelings about it, it sounds to me. Like there's some good things about it, and you know it's helpful. It makes you feel better right away. And you're not entirely sure that having a bath and the mini vacation idea is going to work as quickly or work as well. So there's these sort of two sides of it for you. Wondering if the mini vacation and the having a bath will be as helpful for you. What are some of the drawbacks to having a bath and doing the mini vacation, do you think?
I guess there's nothing bad about it, really. I'm just used to having that immediate release when I cut.
Mm-hmm. So it's maybe not as immediate for you. You have to draw the bath. It may take a bit more time. Mm-hmm. And
yeah.
It's different.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the good positive parts about choosing to have a bath and self-soothe in that way, do you think?
It's relaxing. I get to be clean and smell good. I can listen to my music. It's sort of like a treat for me. So, and I don't wake up the next day with scars.
That's maybe a big one for you, right? That you're waking up, you don't have any scars. You got to listen to your music. You're smelling good, right? You're feeling good, maybe.
Yeah.
So you listed lots of positives, but there's still these two parts of yourself. Remember in some of the other sessions we've had, we talked about what you, Gina, as a person, what you value and what's important to you. Do you remember what those things were you'd identified?
One was independence, and two was privacy. Yeah, those were the main things.
Mm-hmm. So independence and privacy were important to you in terms of, what you value in your life. So when you think about independence and you think about privacy, where do you see cutting impacting that? Like, how does that fit with those two things? How does cutting fit with independence? Why don't we start there?
I decide to cut myself, and it's my decision.
So there's independence in terms of those choices. Okay. Any consequences of cutting on your independence, do you think?
It's not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in control, but it doesn't work out for the best.
Mm-hmm. So you are in control, but it doesn't work out for the best. Yeah. And there has been some consequences in terms of your mom curtailing your independence based on your cutting.
Definitely, she takes away my independence, and so it seems like a bad cycle.
Uh-huh. So your mom is sort of pulling back on your independence and it gets into a bad cycle.
And then, which makes me more mad, which makes me want to cut again.
So it becomes a real vicious circle almost, cycle, yeah. How about privacy? How does cutting affect privacy for you, that value?
It impacts it in a bad way because I have to be private about hiding my scars, but it's kind of a good way too because I get to do it in private. Nobody else sees me, and so I feel good about having that private thing that only I can do.
Mm-hmm. It needs to happen in private, and that wanting to be in private and cutting, those two things go together. But the downside is that you're almost required to be private because you have to hide yourself and be so conscious all the time of covering up and keeping the secret.
Hmm.
So you talked about having mixed feelings about deciding to cut or not to cut, and there's lots of different feelings for you about that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I wondered about is, if you imagine what would things look like for you in a year from now, if cutting is still in your life? What do you envision it would look like? So you'd be 1 year older, so you'd be 17. What do you think when you imagine that?
Just feel like it will probably be worse. I feel like I'll have way more scars, like they could even be somewhere else, not just my arms or maybe my legs, because if I just keep going, then there'd be nowhere else to cut, and it just could get really bad, I think. Lots more scars. I would not even have a chance of going back on the swim team at all or doing anything like that. I think it would be bad.
Mm-hmm. So you just feel like there'd be lots of consequences down the road. There'd be lots more scars, maybe more spots, and you're really afraid that it wouldn't be an option to go on the swim team. Mm-hmm. And that'd be bad for you.
Yeah, I feel like right now I could probably go back if I stop cutting, but if I keep, and once I heal, it could be okay, but if I keep going the way I'm going, I don't know if I could hide it. It might stick around forever.
So you have hope right now that you could return to the swim team, and that is important to you.
Yeah,